Hello, welcome to the United Man. Today we're going to be going through all the latest reports on transfer news, including Milinkovic Savic, Saul, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire and more. And also going to be touching on why I believe if Solskjaer fails this season, it won't be down to him, it'll be down to Woodward and his recruitment. Alrighty, before we get started, just wanted to say a big thank you. We've gone from 100 subscribers to 200 subscribers in what seems a blink of an eye. So much appreciated for that. And the comments generated now is brilliant. Loving talking with the community in regards to all things Manchester United. So yeah, keep it coming, keep subscribing. Just starting with, as I just touched on a moment ago, if Solskjaer doesn't succeed this season, it won't be down to him. This is meant to be our biggest rebuild in recent history. And so far, we've signed one player to our starting 11. That is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I know we've got Daniel James as well, but as Solskjaer's already stated himself, he's probably not going to be starting. He's probably going to be coming off the bench. Moving on from that, well, reports broke yesterday in relation to Sergei Milinkovic Savic, stating that Manchester United are one step away from securing his services. Lazio are after 80 million and we put in a bid for around 65. Now, bearing in mind, before the World Cup, last World Cup, his name was being bandied about very heavily with us, and he didn't have a great World Cup. His team bouncing out of the World Cup quite early, and again, he didn't have the greatest performance for himself. So an interest seemed to cool after that quite quickly. Now, surfaced again, I still think he's a talented individual. I still think he would be a decent replacement for Pogba, not only himself, but along with Bruno Fernandes. If there is indeed some substance to this deal, I think if that was to be done, that'd still be a good deal for us as well. He's a big, powerful player, 6'3", similar height, if not bigger than Pogba himself. Plays in a very similar manner, very skillful, very direct, and a good passer. Maybe not as good a passer as Pogba, possibly a better goal scorer though, and a very good dribbler, and probably a better tackler than Pogba from what I've seen. His agent apparently was due in London today, and that's Chelsea or former player Mateo Kezman. So if all these reports are correct, if you do start hearing reports of Mateo Kezman all of a sudden in London, there's probably something behind it. So watch this space on this one. It's quite interesting. As I say though, Lazio president's come out saying he's looking at 120 euros for Milinkovic Savic, which just isn't realistic. He may have got closer to 80 a couple of years ago, but that's 80 million in terms of pounds sterling, but 120 euros, that's just not happening. So whether that's true or false, I'm not too sure. But in terms of those kind of prices after him, no. And Lazio, the other thing is Lazio seemed very, very keen on cashing in on him, whereas before the World Cup, they were saying, he's not for sale. But now, as his values seemingly decreased, they seem quite open to a deal. Before we continue, guys, I've got a question to pose for yourselves. Now, there was, again, another good question in the comments earlier where I was saying, do you think they listen to Solskjaer? Do you think basically that they're going to heed what he's saying and go after the players that he wants? Now, the question I pose is, can we trust that Woodward and the recruiting guys on his end are indeed gonna go and get the deals done? Can we trust them? Can we trust them to get these deals over the line? Onto the Saul story. Again, 135 million euros is been touted as his release clause amount. Atletico Madrid, I can't see them wanting to let him go. He's sort of like their talisman, if you like, along with Koke in that midfield. Now, I believe Saul Niguez will not want to leave. I mean, he signed a 9-year contract. A 9-year contract? I've not heard of a contract being that long before, but I know it's one of the longest footballing contract signed in history. So his deal expires in 2026. So he's got ages to go yet. And he's come out and said things like, "We are family and there is no better place to be." And then he signed a 9-year contract. So for me, that doesn't sound like he's going anywhere. And not only that, I can't see us paying £135 million release clause. It's been said that there is a release clause, but most Spanish players do have release clauses. And that if he was interested in Manchester United, then Atletico Madrid indeed wouldn't have any say in the matter, which is, I suppose, correct. If we was to put the release clause money up, and if Saul wanted to come to us, then there's very little Atletico Madrid can do. And I also don't believe that we're going to stump up 135 mil. Not only that, Atletico Madrid have sold Lucas Hernandez, their left back. They've sold Rodri, another central midfielder, to City, and it looks like Antoine Griezmann is about to walk out the door. He's refusing to come back for training. So I can't see them selling another player, especially a key player like that, where they've given him a 9-year contract. For me, that one's a no-go. Bruno Fernandes. Right, what's going on with this one, ladies and gents? Okay, so we know the personal terms have been agreed. We know that he's back in training now with Sporting, so which is an issue. He didn't burn any bridges then. The player himself believes that the transfer is going to happen, so everything points to a green light. But the question remains, okay, well, why is the deal not done? The deal's not done essentially because Man United's penny pinching. Why are they penny pinching? It's because of this clause that's in his contract saying if someone bids over 35 million euros and it's rejected and he doesn't move in the same window, then he gets paid out 5 million euros. So I think Man United are just trying to bid around that amount, 31, 32, 33, 35 mil, and Sporting have their own valuation of him, even though there's a clause in his contract. I don't think it works the way, say, for example, in Spain. I believe they're looking for a valuation between sort of 55 to anything up to 65. Someone actually commented as well, this still reeks of a player that was after previously, and that was Nicolas Gaitan from Benfica. And we was getting him, and we didn't get him. It was all meant to be done, and I said in reply to that comment, I agree, and it also reminds me of the Griezmann deal. We were getting him, and then we didn't. For whatever the reason was, those players, they were nailed on. The Nicolas Gaitan deal and the Antoine Griezmann deal, they were nailed on, but they didn't come through. Nothing's 100%, nothing's ever certain. But my point is, these are other deals that are very similar, as commented. These are other deals that were very similar. We were getting him, players happy, everything seems in place, then nothing happens. But it rolls on. It's not like the Pogba deal where we knew the deal was happening before it happened. We were just waiting for the big Adidas announcement and promo. So yeah, the longer this deal rumbles on, the less confident I am. With Harry Maguire, we know that he's very interested in Manchester United, but there is a steep asking price of around 80 to 85 mil that Leicester are after. They don't have to sell. He only signed a new contract with them beginning of last season, so they don't have to sell, but Man United looks like we're going to have to pay big on this one for them to get this deal done. Nothing's really moved on that other than Manchester United trying to agree a fee. I do believe we'll end up getting him, but it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap. We're going to have to pay through the nose for this one. I'm not adverse to it because we need certain players. So that's why I'm not happy about all these other deals that are supposedly happening. Us messing about with the fees. Personal terms have been agreed and whatnot, and other deals, and we're just procrastinating again. So if we're after these players, let's just pay the money and get them in. Another strange point I want to touch on. Now, I know Solskjaer or Manchester United didn't or don't want Pogba to leave, but Road has come out and said, yeah, Pogba wants to leave. Also with Lukaku. Now, these guys want to go, and we just seem incapable of getting deals done, whether it's in or out. These guys want to leave. For example, Lukaku, Man United, I'm assuming, wants to sell. Lukaku wants to leave. there's other clubs that are in for him, but we just can't get the deal done. And subsequently, they're back in pre-season with us, not wanting to be at Man United anymore, which can't be good for morale. That can't be good for the atmosphere, regardless of who you've got around you in terms of coaches and whatnot. If you've got players that don't want to be there, it's not good for the squad. So get these players out that don't want to be there. I'm a lover of Pogba. I didn't want to see him go, but he's come out publicly and said it now. So for me, there's very, 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 it's no going back from that. So yeah, let's get players shifted out that we don't want and move on. We don't want to be keeping players around. It's just pointless. It's just pointless. So yeah, that being said, it was just a quick update on the transfers. Hopefully we can get some over the line next few days. Hopefully weeks, I should say. But yeah, guys, if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Comments has been great recently, and thanks a lot for tuning in. I'll see you next time.